In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what is going on in the Vancouver real estate market, Greater Vancouver, the Lower Mainland, whatever you want to call it, in 4 slides. This will not be your average generic market report with numbers that have no relevance to where you are buying or selling. We're going to jump into the specifics of each area and property type with color-coded maps so you can see exactly what is going on where you live. One thing I will tell you, depending on location, property type, and price range, the markets vary drastically area by area, so stay tuned. Hey everybody, what's going on? Mark Parsons here with eXp Realty. If you are someone that is interested in learning everything Vancouver, Canada, especially real estate related, make sure to click that subscribe button, tap that notification bell so that you get notified every time we upload a brand new video about Vancouver and the surrounding areas on the channel. Honestly, we get dozens and dozens of people reaching out, buying and selling in the Greater Vancouver area, and we absolutely love it. If you're planning to sell your property, reach out and we can dive deep into the numbers in your area and price range, the numbers that matter to you, and show you what it takes to get a top dollar sale. If you don't reach out, we can't help. It's what we do on a daily basis. So if you're looking to move, relocate, or you just want to come out and hang out, make sure to reach out. If you have any questions or comments, comment below. I respond to 100% of my YouTube comments. I will leave some links in the description as well as our contact info and a link to book a Zoom call for a one-on-one at a time of your convenience. If that's your preference, just know that we have your back and we want to take care of you. But if you don't reach out, we can't help. Hey guys, Mark Parsons here with eXp Realty, back with the monthly real estate market update. Now, it has been a few months since I've done it, which makes it even more appropriate. We know there's been a lot of the market has been crazy. So this will help to give some perspective, because I'm telling you, depending on what type of property you're purchasing or where you're purchasing, the markets are different. So we're going to dive right into that, color coded so you can see it. So what we're looking at here, on this slide is looking at detached properties month over month. Now, month over month, I'm not looking at prices. Month over month, we're looking at the supply and demand of the market. Are we in a buyer's market, a seller's market, a balanced market? And so what we look at is inventory versus sales over that month. So those two numbers give you a sales ratio, also known as the absorption rate, and it's how we measure if we are in a buyer's market, balanced market, or seller's market, or how hot of a seller's market. So for example, if you have 100 properties on the market and 20 sold that month, well, that would be a 20% sales ratio or a 20% absorption rate. And what that represents, if nothing else changed, it would take 5 months of selling 20 homes a month in order to absorb all of the inventory. So you would have 5 months of inventory. Now, anytime the absorption rate or the sales ratio, I like to call it the absorption rate, is 20% or greater, that's when we're considered in a seller's market. So anytime we have 5 months of inventory or less, we're considered in a seller's market. And if the market stays there for, a sustained period of time, a few months, we'll start to see upward pressure on prices. Now, we've been in that area for a year and a half now, and we've watched prices reflect that. So as we look at the graph you're looking at here, they're not all sellers markets. So the ones you're seeing in the green, and again, this is for detached properties, the ones in the green, West Vancouver, West Side Vancouver, and East Van, this is looking back at January. They were actually in what would be considered a balanced market. For those people selling in it and hearing their friends sell in other markets, they would very much feel like they're in a buyer's market. But technically, those 3 markets were in a balanced market. Other than that, it was pretty strong sellers markets across the board out there. Anything in the yellow represents over 2 months of inventory. And anything in the orange represents less than 2 months of inventory. And less than 2 months of inventory, guys, is an environment where there will be substantial competition, multiple offers, left, right, and center. Under 2 months of inventory is a very challenging market for buyers. So again, the yellow, we're looking at between 2 and 5 months of inventory on the market. For instance, in Burnaby here, it's at 33%. Again, guys, it enters the seller's market at 20%. Burnaby's at 33, North Vancouver 39, Port Moody 39. Coquitlam 35, so they're very, very firm and solid sellers market. I mean, Richmond at 49%, 46, and as you get into these orange ones here with Port Coquitlam at 91%, there's almost not even 1 month of inventory on the market. That was where the hottest market was for detached homes for that particular month. In terms of supply and demand, and Langley at 73%, Abbotsford at 80%. These are very, very competitive market, guys. But to be completely honest, this has actually cooled down a bit for detached homes since October, November, December. The numbers were actually even stronger than this. More in favor of sellers markets, tougher for buyers, even though these are very, very tough. So the next slide here, now we're looking at detached annual variances, guys. So now we are looking at prices. How much have prices increased if we compare January 2022 to January 2021? Now, the ones that I have in brown are very much anomalies. These are ones that, because for instance, these are in the higher price market. So if we look back a year ago, and let's say in that particular month, because it's just comparing the month to month, 1 year apart, January 22 versus January 2021, it says West Vancouver has gone up 1% and West Side Vancouver has gone down 3%. Now, I would have to look closer, and I would take those with a grain of salt. For instance, if in these markets that January 2021, they had sold some $15 or $20 million properties, that can throw off the averages. So I put those ones in brown because those ones I would like to look in closer, but it does make sense that they may have not seen nearly the increases that we've seen in other markets across the Lower Mainland. But again, those numbers I would take with a grain of salt. I would have to look deeper into those numbers. So now, anything in yellow, so this is for detached annual prices, anything in yellow is between 0 and 20%. There's just one market here, it's Port Moody, and it's up 7% year over year. So everything else here is over 20%, okay? So now anything in the orange, price increases saw between 20 and 40%. I know, I can't even believe that I'm having to use such wide brackets of numbers, and that there is a category above 40% price increase year over year. But anything in the orange is between 20 and 40% price increase year over year for detached homes. Coquitlam at 29%, North Vancouver 22%, Burnaby 31, East Van 21. So it does vary a lot, guys. If 34% versus 21%, or Richmond right at 40%. So even though they're both in the orange, it's essentially almost had double the price increase to East Vancouver. Ladner 34%, Tawasin 30%. Now in the red, guys, anything in the red, we've got price increases at 40% or above. So Maple Ridge 44%, Pitt Meadows 46%, and this is for detached homes again, guys. Mission 44, Langley 45, Abbotsford 47, Cloverdale 53%, North Delta 50%, Surrey 47%. We've got a serious supply issue out here, and it's reflected on the prices here. The market is. Sellers have an unsustainable advantage, but right now I still can't see it taking a big turn. I don't see prices continuing to increase at this rate, but without enough supply coming on the market, it will be really hard for the pressure to come completely off. Although we have seen, if we looked at January, the pressure was not nearly as hot as we saw it for October, November, December for detached homes. So now we're going to go to attached. So this is condos and townhomes, and again now we're looking back at the monthly numbers, guys. So this is where we're looking at the absorption rate. It's nothing to do with price month over month. We're looking at, are we in a buyer's market, seller's market, or how hot of a seller's market. For instance, for detached, for attached properties, there was nothing that was in a buyer's market.
in the yellow, we have markets that have over 2 months of inventory. So West Vancouver, Downtown Vancouver, West Side Van, and North Delta had over 2 months of inventory, but we're still firmly in sellers markets. Anything over 20% is a seller's market. West Side Vancouver was 35%, downtown 30%, West Side Vancouver 34%, and North Delta at 47%. So still very firm seller's market, but in compared to the rest of the areas here, those were where buyers would have the most breathing room, even though properties are still moving pretty fast in those markets. Then anything in the orange here, which you can see is the majority, is less than 2 months of inventory. So we're getting into very competitive markets there. Coquitlam, Port Moody, North Van, Burnaby, East Van, New West, Surrey, Tawasin, Richmond, Cloverdale, South Surrey, Langley. All of these have less than 2 months of inventory on the market, which becomes very, very challenging for buyers. And when we hit the red here, which Port Coquitlam was included, but I forgot to put the square on, these are ones that have less than 1 month of inventory on the market. That means on February 1st, they had less properties available for sale than the amount that sold in January. So without properties coming on the market, and if wouldn't even have enough properties on the market. These are the ones in red here. And the truth is, guys, if we would have looked 6 months ago, we would have been seeing exactly that here in detached homes. And then what happens is it turns, so this is detached home monthly variances. We would have been seeing red in here in October, November, December, even before that. The pressure was much higher for the absorption rate for detached homes, and what it resulted in was much larger price increases. So now it's normal that we see the shift onto the attached market. The attached market has not seen the price increases that the detached has seen yet, but we are seeing the precursors. So the month to month, where we look at measure if it's in a buyer's market or a seller's market, is how it's a precursor of prices. So we can look at this and see how hot the market is. That's what will determine prices going up tomorrow, or when it turns around like it did in 2018 and 2019, and we saw detached home prices in many markets drop 10 to 15%. Everybody's forgot about that now because it gets wiped out, and when the music stops on this one, we're going to see that again. I don't doubt it at all. I just don't know exactly when, because the precursors aren't showing that a major shift yet. But so attached month over month, the market's in the red. Here it's absolute pandemonium for buyers. The competition is very, very fierce. Sellers are getting their terms and conditions. And again, guys, it's an unsustainable advantage for sellers. But for those who are selling in this market, you're going to get top dollar. And you're going to get your terms and conditions. You'll likely be able to get long closing dates, and just really you will have the power in negotiation. So that's month over month absorption rate for attached. Now we'll get into annual variances for attached. So this is condos and townhomes, and this is prices, guys. Year over year, looking at January 2021 versus January 2022. And again, I put 2 in the brown color, meaning that they're anomalies. By just looking at the number, it would lead me to believe that things would need to be looked closer into. It's showing West Vancouver is down 27%, which is certainly not the case. It was likely that in January 2021, there were some incredible high-end sales that were done that really pulled those averages up. And then when we compare month to month, it just looks substantially different than the reality. So we always have to take with a grain of salt and use our brain. I'm sure when we even just look next month, this number will normalize itself. And then we have Tawasin up 4% as well. I'd have to look closer in to see how accurate that is, but I imagine that's a little bit muddy waters as well. So with the rest of it, anything in the yellow, prices have increased between 0 and 20%. New Westminster at 10%, East Van at 12%, Ladner at 20% price increase, Richmond 16%. This is for condos and townhomes, guys, average across the board. If we dove in deeper, we'd likely see At this point, a little bit more of that weighted to the higher ends to the townhomes, but now we're starting to see the heat pick up on condos as well. So downtown Vancouver, 14%, 16% year over year. Anything in the orange, guys, is between 20 and 40% price increase year over year for condos and townhomes. So Burnaby at 27%, Port Moody at 30, Coquitlam 30, Port Coquitlam 40%, Mission at 21, Surrey 25, North Delta 21, Surrey 24, Langley 28%. And what you're seeing, guys, because if we go back to Detached, the price increases are much smaller, or not. They're generally smaller price increases for condos and townhomes, but now we're seeing in the attached, we're seeing month over month it really heating up in terms of the it being a seller's market and the competition, and that is going to be the precursor to us seeing probably similar pressure on prices for the attached that we saw on the detached. So anything in the red is over 40% price increase year over year. So these markets, Cloverdale, Abbotsford, and Pitt Meadows have saw over a 40% increase. Cloverdale topping out at 53%, Abbotsford at 46%, and Pitt Meadows at 49%. Now again, Maple Ridge is sitting here at 0%. Again, guys, I have to mark out these anomalies. They'd have to be looked into closer, because I can tell you for certain that does not represent the truth. Certainly not when Pitt Meadows right next door to it is up 49%. So again, this could have been some major sales of much higher end properties a year ago than what is normally sold in that market that have skewed the numbers, or maybe one had a ton of sales and the other one had far less sales. Whatever it is, I don't see this as boots on the ground. This doesn't represent what the market has actually done there, and that's why I've just given it kind of a general color code. Because that I would have to look further into to see what has skewed those numbers. But that's it, guys. So, if we're looking at it as a whole, we've seen substantial pressure on prices, and now we've had time for detached homes. The price increases are massive. We have seen the market shift a little bit, but it's still very much in favor of sales. Maybe price increases will slow down, but at this point, it's still not even enough of a shift to see prices flatten out, and certainly not to come down. Not at this point with what we're seeing. And now we are seeing a lot of that buying activity or pressure shift into the attached market. The truth is, it was already kind of there for townhomes, but we are seeing it now shift into condos as well. And when we look at the absorption rates of condos and townhomes, it only leads me to believe that it will be the precursor of pressure on prices going upward for condos and townhomes across the Lower Mainland. But as you can see, when you look at it color-coded, is no market is the same. They vary quite drastically. If you're looking here and you saw prices in downtown Vancouver went up 14%, and in Abbotsford went up 46%. They're nothing the same at all. Prices up 10% in New West and up 53% in Cloverdale. Every market is different. Every price bracket is different. Every property type is different. They're their own unique submarket. So if you have any questions, if you are considering selling and you'd like to sit down and really get into the details on your price bracket, your property type, the area that you're looking, we can really dig deeper into these numbers and show you what's real out there, where your opportunities are, and where you can really leverage your advantage as a seller. But, if you don't reach out, I can't help, guys. That's it for this month.
Okay guys, so that's going to do it for today's video. Now you have a clear bird's eye view of what is happening in the Vancouver real estate market across the Lower Mainland. For the time being, in most markets, sellers have an unsustainable advantage. For buyers, I know it is tough out there, but be persistent. Those who are buying now will certainly have a property that is worth more a year from now. If you are planning to sell your property, reach out and we can dive deep into the numbers numbers in your area, the numbers that matter to you, and show you what it takes to get a top dollar sale. If you don't reach out, we can't help. If you are somebody that is looking to buy or sell within the Greater Vancouver area or relocate from outside the area, I'm going to go ahead and leave all of our contact information in the description below, as well as a link to book a Zoom call at a time of your convenience. Send us an email, shoot us a text, give us a call, because if you're making a move, we have your back, we have you covered, and we absolutely love doing it. It's what we do every single day. It's what we're good at, and if you don't reach out, we can't help. So with all that being said, my name is Mark Parsons with eXp Realty. I'm from the Greater Vancouver area. If you have any questions at all, let us know in the comments below. I respond to 100% of the YouTube comments, and we will see you guys on the next video.